Have Officer LaGardye here. Roderick LaGardye, excuse me.
Oh, that's fine.
He's here. He's running for Genesee County Sheriff. He's a write-in candidate. Mr. LaGardye, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome.
How are you?
Oh, I'm truly blessed.
Good. Now, for the people who don't know you, we already know that you're familiar with a lot of people in our community.
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm a native of Flint.
Okay.
Born here, raised here, Pearson Elementary, Bryant Junior High.
Okay.
Graduated from Flint Northwestern High School. Went to Michigan State, not quite a full year, and then went into the Marine Corps. Stayed there until I joined the Flint City Police Department in 1986.
Okay.
And I've been here in the city in Flint most of my life.
Okay. Now, what do you do now at the police department?
Actually, I'm assigned to crimes against people. I'm a homicide detective for the Flint City Police Department.
Okay.
Detective Sergeant is my rank.
Okay. Now, how long have you been in that specific role?
As a detective sergeant?
Yeah.
Well, I've been in homicide for approximately 8 years or
Okay.
better now, yes.
Okay. So you were a police officer prior to
Yes, I was a uniform officer when I first got on in 1986.
Okay.
And in January of 1987, I was moved to work narcotics undercover, and I stayed there for approximately 6 years.
Okay.
And went back in uniform for a year, and been back in plain clothes since 1993.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit more about your family.
Oh, I have 3 children. I have a son that's 21. I have a daughter just graduated from Carmen Ainsworth.
Oh, wow.
She's 18. And then my youngest is at Carmen Ainsworth as a sophomore.
Okay. Now, again, as we're going to reiterate to our viewers, because this is a different kind of candidacy he's running for. He's doing a write-in candidacy. That means that when you go to vote for sheriff, what you have to do is write his name in and enter it in a little dot. So can you speak to us a little bit more about that?
Well, it's not as hard as people think it is.
Okay.
What they have to do when they go to vote, go to the part where it says for Genesee County Sheriff, and then they'll see the incumbent, which is Mr. Piquel.
Mm-hmm.
Under him, they'll have straight lines that you can write on. You would write my name on that line, then darken in the oval, and that means that you have voted for me as a write-in candidate for sheriff.
Okay. Now, I want you to spell your name for our viewers who don't know you. How do you spell
My
your
first
name?
name is spelled Roderick, R-O-D-E-R-I-C-K, and the last name is LaGardye, L-E-G-A-R-D-Y-E. And a lot of people know me as Rod.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you are a minister.
Yes, I am.
And you are a minister at what church?
The House of Prayer Missionary Baptist Church, where Kenneth Stewart is the pastor.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences there?
Oh, I love my work for God. I love teaching. I love preaching. I love being able to help people. One of the things I believe is that we can do anything through Christ, only if we believe. We have to have faith, and we have to understand and get to know God in order to put that faith into operation, knowing how God operates and knowing His will.
Okay. Now, do you have any other, what you would say, mentors or anybody in the city that you look up to?
As far as I get involved in a lot of things. I used to coach track here in the city. That's one of my big things. I used to love to run.
Okay.
So what experience I had with my track, I would pass over to other kids.
Okay.
I'm just basically most of the time a stay-home dad with my children, and a lot of people call me a workaholic, but I believe in working and I believe in helping people. And it came to my realization about 5 years ago, and where I was listening to T.D. Jakes, and one of the things about it is God created everybody for a purpose, and it hit me like a brick why He created me. Is when I took an oath as a police officer to protect and serve. He created me to do just that, protect and serve His people and the people in the community. So I've dedicated my life to doing what God has called me to do. And in that, I feel very successful.
Okay. Now, let's talk about Sheriff Piquel. That is the incumbent.
Yes.
Obviously, well, I can't say obviously. Why do you feel the need to run at this point?
I feel the need to run at this point because I see a drift in the law enforcement community. I believe in order to properly serve the people, the law enforcement community needs to be on one page, or as the Bible put it, on one accord. And we need to come together. And as I have a pamphlet that's passed around, I talk about safety and unity. The unity is that the law enforcement community has to come together. The Bible speaks about leaven. He says, Jesus said, a little leaven in the loaf shall spoil the whole loaf. And what happens in that is that the leaven spreads. There's no secret that Flint has a crime problem. But just as leaven does, crime shall soon spread, where people will get the nerve to go outside Flint or go here or go there to do some of the devious deeds that they do. And then that happens where law enforcement has to step up. And another big thing I push on is that getting community involvement. I've worked homicide for approximately 8 years, and I've solved a lot of crimes. But it's not me that actually solved the crime. It's by the grace of God and the people in the community. See, all I am is ears to listen to what the community tells me, and I've been given the gift to put it down on paper and put it together to present to the prosecutor's office for prosecution. But it's the people that are the very important part of the law enforcement community. Because most times when crimes are committed where I have to get called out, when it happens, I'm in the bed asleep, but somebody's eyes see. And the people has to feel comfortable with the law enforcement community giving them that information.
Now, with the Genesee County Sheriff Department, let's talk a little bit about what capacity the sheriff does. People know the sheriff, but they don't know exactly what they do. So in your mind frame, or what are the responsibilities and goals of the sheriff's department?
Well, I look at it as a twofold thing. One is to be able to get proper housing for those who commit violent crimes or commit crimes. Two, as a law enforcement officer, to help investigate and prevent crime. And see, one thing about it, I'm a person that's very proactive. I've worked with some friends before on doing security stuff, and they used to tell me, you work hard not to work hard. And in other words, to make that simple, is that when I first come into a place, I'm working hard to get an understanding that the law is here, and anything that violates it will be dealt with. And that's what we have to do. And what it does is drift us to a proactive approach to policing. Say, for instance, if you were a bank robber and you know the police are right there, would you rob a bank? So it's more or less being able to get to places, deal with high crime problems and different things of that nature. And once again, to me, it falls back to the community's help also. And therefore, the community has to feel safe when they decide helping the police.
I see. Now, you are now part of the Flint Police Department.
Yes.
Going into this role as sheriff, if you're elected, of course, we know morale is down in the police department. There's a lot of issues and politics floating around the department at this point. For our viewers, can you make a connection, or is there anything that you can do to alleviate some of that stress or the politics and the disarray that's going on in the department?
One thing I tell a lot of the officers I work with, think about it. We're here to serve the community. No matter what happens, we're here to serve the community. And I have to be honest with you, you're not going to get rich doing police work, but you get the fulfillment out of helping someone, making someone feel safe, making someone feel secure. Or at least that's the joy and fulfillment for me.
Okay, so with just in that regard,